Welcome, one and all, to another watch party. And we have Reservoir Dogs today. Joining me is Matt, Mad Matt. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, one and all.
Yeah, we have a couple new faces in the chat that I see. And, let's get started. I know we have different starting points. I think some start right into the talking at the diner. I was thinking 10 seconds in, but I think we're going to catch up pretty quick. All right, without further ado, Matt, why don't you count us down?
Okay, before we start this thing, I'm going to need everyone to put $1 on the table. And here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
There we go. So it does. It picks up right at the diner. And yeah, and so the credits are rolling in. These guys are all around a diner talking. And all right, so while the story starts kicking off, Alex doesn't believe in it, Matt, so he will not be chipping in $1. All right, so let's do a shout out to everyone in the chat. I do see a few new faces, or not see faces, but I see some new people joining us. So over in YouTube, we have Hell If I Know, we have Eric, Alex Peacock. So, oh no, Jape Canape? I think you've joined us before. I think I recognize that. Miss Swift is here. Let's see, Alex, I've already shouted out. Calbot, Hell If I Know. Malad, is that how I pronounce it? Malad. Yeah, what's poppin'? Thank you for joining us today. Old Johnny Devick is here. Oh, Plutonium Shore is joining us. I don't think we've seen Plutonium Shore for a while. All right, and James Hellier is joining us. Let's see, and over in Discord we have Alex, Mr. Furzel, Frag Lord, Plutonium Shore. Who else? Who am I missing? Oh, Miss Swift is over there, Alex. Yeah, looks like people are doing double duty and chatting in YouTube and Discord. Oh, Frag Lord, you finally got the chat to work out. I'm having kind of a difficulty in this program seeing the YouTube chat at times. So I'm going to apologize up front if it lags a little bit and I don't see your comments. But yes, without further ado, has anybody not seen this before? If this is your first time watching, this is going to be a fun watch, especially if you are familiar with Quentin Tarantino's work. If you're not, this will, just kind of kick you in the face as to who he was as a writer, director. This was at the beginning of his career. Interesting.
First watch for Frag Lord.
Yep. Frag Lord has not seen it, but seen lots of Quentin. So this is very much a Quentin movie. I think this was my very first Quentin Tarantino movie ever. So I had nothing else to compare it to. And then all the other ones that I've seen since just kind of mirror this movie as him as a filmmaker, if that makes sense. Yes, Calbot, this is very Tarantino. He came out the gate swinging, and he just is a very different kind of filmmaker. I know one of his last movies, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, got either roasted or praised. So it's almost like there was no in between. Yes, Calbot, R.I.P. Chris Penn, who is actually in this movie, he does not have a color. He's just Joe standing up at the diner right now. He plays his son, and Eddie, Chris plays Eddie. So yeah, now we just kind of see a bunch of guys around sitting at a diner, um, which to me this is it's like a pivotal setup scene where you're almost feeling like you are basically we are coming right in the middle of a conversation. These guys all know each other, sort of, and we just jumping into their lives midstream to some very solid dialogue, very solid interaction. Not something that I take lightly. Not that I'm a filmmaker or anything, but I love scenes like this that dive into who these characters are, why they are together in this scene, setting up for the next scene. Yeah, so if that makes sense. Um, let's see. Oh, yeah. So Calbot says Madonna has said this story is complete BS. And what they're doing is they were talking about Madonna's Like a Virgin song, which is one of her biggest hits. And okay, so Madonna's connection to this movie is at this time, I believe she was married to Sean Penn, who is Chris Penn's brother. So at the time they were making this movie, I think they were either courting, married, divorced, something like that. Um, but yeah, this was drama back in the day. And so yeah, we're introduced to this all-star cast of very well-known actors. Harvey Keitel has had a career as long as your arm and then some. And of course, Tim Roth. We have Steve Buscemi, Michael Madsen, who went on to, I think, film with Tarantino. I think five more times, three, four, or five more times. Yeah, Tarantino was really famous for carrying on with the same kind of people that he likes. Oh, Frag Lord, don't have subs, so we'll have serious problems filling dialogue and commentary. Yes, Kill Bill. Yeah, Michael Madsen was in Kill Bill. Daryl Hannah was in Kill Bill. That was a phenomenal movie. If you really are into the Tarantino violence, uh, yeah, that took his violence and upped it times 10. Yeah, Alex says Buscemi has a European opinion on tipping. That's true. He in this scene, he's the standalone. Won't put a dollar into tip. You go into this big discussion as to why he won't, and it makes sense. And this is the European, I guess, the European philosophy is you don't tip because it's built into the wages. But of course, Joe comes to the table and says, pony up, put a dollar, you dumbass. So he does.
I said I'd have to agree with you. I'm on Mr. Pink here too. I worked 9 to 5, and I just did my job, and nobody gave me a tip ever. So why am I ponying up for somebody
You
else's? Like,
right.
and again, yeah, the same thing. It's like, yeah, did you do a great job? I said all you did was just bring a plate from over there to over here. You didn't cook the food. Why don't I get tip the chef?
Right. Yeah. There was a debate going on here in the States for a while too about whether they should do away with tipping or whether, yeah, right now we still kind of tip as customary. We've kind of been, it's built into our culture at least that we do tip certain industries. Um, but, everybody's different.
Yeah, I find tipping nowadays in our modern world to be really ridiculous because at the prices they're asking for the tip, I go, that's more than the wage I earn. That's not a
Yeah.
gratuity. I'm paying your salary, and they and
Right.
they want they want the tip up front before any service has been provided.
Yeah, that can go above and beyond. If you're tipping before you've gotten any service, And usually, your tip is based on the total dollar amount and the service provided. So, um, oh, Plutonium Shore is saying tip your vending machine. Oh yeah, yeah. Um, oh yeah, there was a comment. James Hellier said in Europe, you tip if the service is good. Our wages are higher in the service sector, so people don't live off tips. Yeah. Yes. So Calbot, yeah, that was Stephen Wright's voiceover at the beginning. But yeah, someone had commented, "R.I.P. Stephen Wright." Calbot says, "Oh wait, Stephen Wright is still with us. Who the hell am I thinking of?" I thought Stephen Wright had passed away, but I don't know.
Well, somebody's right, somebody's wrong.
Somebody's right and someone is wrong. Well,
Yep,
we
probably
can do
both.
a quick search.
Yep, probably both are named Stephen.
Yeah, we could do a quick search. Yep, it looks like he is still with us, probably just living out of the limelight. Okay, so, all right. Well, these fellows are having breakfast, and now we are jumping to a scene that is very reminiscent of a Pulp Fiction scene, except the guy in the back is now still very much alive. Okay, so Fraglord had commented part two looks like the CSI episode he directed. So Kill Bill part two. Um, and Alex had commented that was the episode with Frank Gorshin, right? Probably so long ago I saw it. Um, and I'm trying to recall a CSI episode that Tarantino directed. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, if we can have some more info, because that would be interesting. I remember watching that show, but oh, The Grave Digger. Was that the one where the CSI agent was buried alive? Yeah, yeah, same here, Alex. I haven't seen CSI in well over a decade. Um, oh, yes, over in the YouTube chat, Plutonium, sure, it was Chris Penn. I believe Chris Penn passed away about, what, 6 or 8 years ago? Yep, yep, that posting, Fraglord, yes, that's the one. He was buried in like a glass coffin. That was a wicked episode. If you have any fears about maybe drowning to death or being buried alive, do not watch that episode. Okay, so these guys are all in their, well, these two guys are in their safe house. Something has gone terribly wrong. Um, and of course, as the story progresses, this is a very character slash dialogue driven movie, which I think at the heart of every Tarantino movie, it is character and dialogue driven. Even with all the blood, even with all the gore, at the heart of it is a character slash characters that you get heavily invested in their story and journey.
I like it's like a spin on a who done it story from the
Exactly.
perspective of the criminals.
Yeah. So as this story unfolds, they're all a bunch of criminals. So something has gone horribly wrong. And I don't want to give away too many spoilers. Oh, wow, Miss Swift. Chris Penn passed away 20 years ago. I know he died young. He was probably 40. No way. He passed away in 2006. Good grief. Where does time go? So does everybody remember their names? I have to write them. I had to write them down just so I could keep track of them. There's only what, one or two characters in the movie that don't have colors. Let's see. Lawrence Turney, who plays Joe, the big guy, the man in charge, he doesn't have a color. Chris Penn doesn't have a color. He's just known as Eddie. Okay, so let's see. Alex says white, orange, pink, blonde, blue, and brown. Yes. One, two, three, four, five, six colors. So we have six different characters to keep track of.
I was trying to put together a mnemonic to remember it all, but then you have three B's at the end, so that's not going to work.
Yep. So Harvey Keitel plays Mr. White. Tim Roth plays Mr. Orange. Mr. Blonde is Michael Madsen. Mr. Pink is Steve Buscemi. Mr. Blue is Eddie Bunker, which we saw him at the diner. I don't know if we're going to see much of him. And then Mr. Brown is Quentin himself, who was at the diner. Yes, there's some posts over on Discord of Tim Roth, and he's got a very long history in Hollywood too. Man, he can play anything.
Yeah, I had a quick read through the trivia that it seems like, yeah, this is Tim Roth's first movie in America. He's an English actor.
And I think this was one of the ones that propelled him into superstardom, or the role that got him all of his other roles and kept him in the business.
Yeah, it would have been amusing if his character had been named Mr. Green for what he turns out later as in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies.
Oh. Okay, so this exposition, this is what is setting this movie on its journey. This exposition of the cops were already there, and that's when they started shooting right off the bat. So someone must have tipped off the cops. Who's the plant? Who's the snitch?
Who's the dirty rat?
Who's the dirty rat? I love these interchanges that he has in these movies. Pulp Fiction, the diner scene, um, is just full of such great dialogue and interaction with characters. This scene as well. It just, and I want to say this movie doesn't have a lot of action. It doesn't. It doesn't have the explosions, but what it has is these scenes like this, and a lot of them. So another little bit of trivia that I discovered about Tarantino's career that I don't know, you probably already knew this, that when he started off in Hollywood, he said that he was going to do 10 movies. And he was going to, write, direct, and do 10 movies and then quit because he didn't want to get oh gosh, I don't remember what the quote is, but basically he doesn't want to get old and stale and unoriginal in Hollywood, and then he's going to quit. So, according to his IMDb, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is number 9. So if he's got one more left and then he'll call it quits, we shall see. We shall see. Yes, Alex, not a lot of quick cuts. Nice use of wide, full shots and let the actors do their thing. Yeah. Okay, so Mr. Blonde is the one that went nutso and started shooting everybody. And it's a good thing I have it written down because that's Michael Madsen's character. Yes, Cowbot, I would bet against it. Yeah, same here. Let's see. Alex says, I think he's reconsidered a few times. He wrote Once Upon a Time as a novel first, so he might do a novel after the next movie. So, who has seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Um, I have seen it twice because it took me that many times to really get it. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I've never been a big fan of Brad Pitt until that movie. Um, Leonardo DiCaprio, I can take or leave, but he did really good in that movie as well. If you are on the fence as to whether you want to see it, I would give it a go. It wasn't his best movie, but it wasn't his worst movie. So one thing about this scene, I don't know if it was me or when he got to the car and got the woman out of the car, he dropped the bag on the ground. Then the next scene we saw, we didn't see the bag. So either when they cut to the officers shooting, he picked up the bag and put it in the car. So this is relevant because it does prove relevant to the story further down the road. So does anybody know whether he picked up the bag and put it in the car, or if it was just a glitch and someone forgot to put it when they were filming that scene? Oh, Alex, not even in Seven, Brad was good in that. Yes, yeah, he was good. I think it just, you know what, as a long career that he had, I'm just not a Brad Pitt fan that I would say, oh, Brad Pitt's in it. Gosh, I love him. I go see it. He was pretty good. He's an okay actor, but I think he nailed it in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yes, Calbot, the bag was not on the ground when he pulled away, and it was pretty noticeable. Um, so I'm guessing he grabbed it and put it in the car before he set away. I don't know. So this really is turning into a who done it. Who's the mole? Who's the snitch? Well, so here's a question. If you're dealing with 6 career criminals, how would you ascertain which one is the snitch? I think unless you know them really well, but the whole premise of the movie was they all have colors as names because they don't want to know each other's real name. So you don't really know each other real well. Um, well, is it, isn't that the way it is in real life? You think you know someone, and then they turn out to be like the killer next door, a mass serial killer who turns out to be, he was such a nice guy. We would have never thought he was, living down the street from you, your friend, your neighbor, ends up killing a bunch of people, and he just is the nicest guy. So you never really know someone.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the character development where you see the alliances form with people who don't know each other and how it turns out either good or bad in the end.
Well, you would think you'd know someone, and that's what kind of these guys are going to have to figure out. How well do you know them? Would you bet your life on it? And what I want to know is, why did Mr. Blonde go berserk and start shooting everybody? Mr. Furzel says because he's a Vega.
Yeah, there's Alex Peacock commenting on Buscemi's suit. It's also in the trivia that, yeah, because everyone basically just had to provide their own clothing. There's no wardrobe department in their budget. And Steve Buscemi's actually wearing black jeans.
Yeah, what was the budget? This must have been low budget, and I don't recall it doing that well in the theaters, but I do know it has subsequently become really, really popular. Yes, Miss Swift, the normal person mask slipped off his psychopath. Yes. Um, yeah, so the budget for this movie was anywhere from 1.2 to $3 million, it was reported. And it barely made its money back, if that. Box office was less than 3 million. Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
I
again,
love Joe.
a lot of the budget just went to paying royalties to get the songs they play in the soundtrack.
Yeah, there's a couple doozies, and I will forever equate Steelers Wheel. I think, was it Alex Peacock? You posted that GIF of Michael Madsen dancing. I will forever equate that song to that scene, forever and ever.
So like a connection to the song "Singing in the Rain" has a different meaning if you know what I'm talking about.
Oops, oops, oops. Okay, I'm back. I think my hand slipped. Clicked off the screen. Okay. At least it's not my internet that I know of. Yeah, that was my bad. Hell if I know. That was my bad. So I finally got my internet worked out, so I shouldn't have any more of those gremlins. So it seems. Oh yes, let me pick up some of these comments. Calbot says I didn't catch up with this one until DVD in the early 2000s, but I think it may be my favorite Tarantino. Um, yeah, I remember seeing this on, I think, a video release or cable or something, and it just stays with me, and it is one of my favorite Tarantino ones. Um, oh, Plutonium Shore says it was one of the first laser discs I bought. I imagine any laser discs you guys have floating around there are going to be worth something, maybe collector's items. Yeah, Miss Swift. I love that song before this. First time I saw this, I was bopping along and then things went off the rail. I could seriously get up and start dancing when that song comes on, even though it's it's kind of a traumatic scene, but we won't get into that. No spoilers. So, yeah, what you were saying before about alliances being formed, it seems Mr. White and Mr. Orange, they're at an impasse. Mr. Orange wants to go to the hospital, and Mr. White is refusing, but he's still protecting him. But how well do you know a guy that you would absolutely vouch that they're not a snitch? So, real quick, going back to um, Tarantino's work, what was the movie he did right after this? Does anybody know off the top of your head? Because I want to say Pulp Fiction. 'Cause I remember when Pulp Fiction came out, there weren't a whole lot of Tarantino movies out there, and Pulp Fiction. I mean, this was a great start to his career, but I think Pulp Fiction absolutely skyrocketed his popularity. Um, yeah, see, a lot of you in the chat are saying Pulp Fiction. Yeah, because I think so. It was Pulp Fiction. Yes, and so it was then Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown was 97, which was another good one. That was a tremendous movie. And then Kill Bill, then Death Proof, Inglorious Bastards, D'Anjou Unchained, The Hateful Eight, and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, there seems to be a link that, yeah, or a common thread that all his movies are taking place in the same universe because there's little links and nods to character names and references, but I don't think he ever pull it together to where we have a continuous world building through all his movies.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you think about it, he's not been credited to to a lot of work. But it just seems like he's one of those guys that's everywhere. Um, okay, James Hellier says Jackie Brown is the only Tarantino film I really like, and it's the least characteristic of his films. Interesting. Enter Mr. Blonde. Cool as a cucumber. Oh yes, Plutonium Shore. I know he acted in Desperado and From Dusk Till Dawn. That's true. He was him and George Clooney played the brothers. I forgot about that. But that was just him as an actor. Oh, that's another fun one we should do. From Dusk Till Dawn. And I think it might already be in my list. Oh, and that's also got Harvey Keitel in it. Yeah, Mr. Blonde reminds me of those really quiet, silent types that you got to watch out for that are just unhinged. So, a couple of his movies have been Oscar winners for the acting. And can you guys throw out which actors in his movies have actually won Academy Awards? I didn't know off the top of my head, but I bet you guys do. I mean, yeah, I haven't watched the Academy Awards in a couple years. Yes, Alex, if only Buscemi was as professional in Fargo, he might not have ended up in a wood chipper. That, you know what, that could take us off on another tangent about Buscemi's work. He is, it's like he's one of those it guys, it's been in everything, can play drama, comedy, um, serious, silly. And then there's Fargo, which is, I think, a little bit of everything. Yes, Alex Peacock. Okay, Oscars, Inglorious Bastards and Once Upon a Time. Yes, those were Academy Award winners. And it looks like Christopher Waltz also won for D'Anjou Unchained for his acting. So he was like, yeah, same actor, different role. Did Tarantino win an Oscar? Hmm. I don't recall Tarantino winning an Oscar yet.
It doesn't strike me as somebody the Academy would allow to have an Oscar.
They could surprise us. Although uh, he's still up against some pretty stiff competition, and since they changed the rules, um, I think they open up the categories to more than five entries. Or is it just the movies? They open up to what, 10?
I'm not sure if the fighting here is the odd exchange, or if I'm still trying to figure out why Jay has the big giant ivory tusks behind him. Said, are we speaking, or have we lost sound? Can you hear me, Sharon? Sharon is silent. Am I silent? Is anyone hearing me? I'm running off of Sharon's feed.
Oh, let me check my microphone.
Yeah,
There we
there
go.
you go.
Okay, now can you hear me? I think I hit my microphone.
Just a lull in the conversation or technical difficulties. Who can
Here's
be
my
sure?
lips moving. Well, you know what? I'm glad things are going wrong because when things go too smooth, I always wonder, okay, something's going on. Okay, yeah, let's move my microphone out of the way. There we go. Michael Madsen just loves to play the cool character, doesn't he? Just even keeled, even when he's going psychotic.
Yeah, strange too in the casting. There was a lot of choices, but it seems like a lot of the actors were initially going for another role and ended up in a different role.
Yeah, I think there was a story about was it Tim Roth? I think was going for um, who does Quentin play? Quentin plays Mr. Brown. I
Yeah,
think Tim was going for that role, but Quentin said no. I'll give you the other one, and I'll just take this one.
yeah. And Tarantino, I think initially
Uh-huh.
he wanted to do the role of Mr. Pink until Buscemi auditioned and said, "No, you take it."
Yeah, Buscemi in whatever he does just steals the screen. Well, I'm okay. So far in the movie, I'm getting the sense that Joe hires Mr. Blonde because he knows him personally. So chances are Mr. Blonde is not the snitch. I remember the first time I watched it, not knowing who the snitch was. Um, you go along with the movie. You try to figure out who's the snitch, who's the one that is least known by the fellow criminals.
Good call there, Alex, with the Lebowski reference.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, the Big Lebowski. Isn't that was another movie that you either love or hate? I've seen it probably 10 times. I love it every single time I watch it. Oh, James Hellier says this is really just a remake of Stanley Kubrick's The Killing, but with added swearing, violence, and non-linear storytelling. That's another filmmaking technique that Tarantino is very well known for is the non-linear jumping back and forth, and then you're piecing the movie together in your head. Oh, check out that car phone. Did we know anybody in the early 90s with a car phone like that? They were big, clunky, expensive, and you could really the only people that could afford it are really rich people. So for any, okay, Alex says never knew someone with a car phone or the lethal weapon bag phone with antenna. Oh, yes. That was way back in the day. From a personal perspective, this is a very troubling scene to get through, but realizing this is Hollywood, this is filmmaking, this is not, this is not real. Let's suspend reality for a little bit. Um, oh gosh, I almost lost my train of thought. So yeah, they took a cop from the scene. They took him hostage here, um, and we're still going round and around who the snitch is. Anybody have any clue and doesn't want to shout it out? Because I think there's some people that haven't seen it before. We don't want to give anything away. Oh, Alex Peacock. You say car phone. My brain goes to Schwarzenegger and Twins. Hello, this is Vincent's car. I haven't seen Twins, I think, since it came out, what, 30, 40 years ago? I might have to revisit that one. That's Schwarzenegger in his comedic role. Yeah, interesting, Alex. You love the movie Twins. It's definitely different. Was that, I think it was Kelly Preston's, was it her first role? One of her first roles? That's going back to the, what, late 80s. Boy, talk about going on a tangent. Let's see, 1988. Yep, 1988. Yep, Kelly Preston. Well, you know why it was such good fun? It was directed and produced by Ivan Reitman. So there you go. I forgot about that. Hugely successful at the box office. 18 million was the budget, 216 million draw at the box office. Interesting. We might have to visit that one. Let's see. Mr. White is not amused. So, yeah, Mr. Blonde, career criminal, goes into a jewelry store and tells them not to hit the alarm, but they do. So he blames them for him killing a bunch of people. That's the mentality. Okay, he's got the names right. White, pink, yes. And you have orange, you have blonde. Mr. Blue and Mr. Brown are the only ones not there. So correct me if I'm wrong. Mr. Brown, did he die at the scene?
I think they established that Mr. Blue is dead.
Mr. Blue, the older gentleman, he's
Yeah.
dead. And they don't know where Mr. Brown is. He's directing the movie. That's what he's doing. Okay, if you guys are squeamish, you might want to look away. Yeah, I'm kind of squeamish on this scene. It's just, yeah, I could even handle Kill Bill 1 and 2, no problem. But this one is just, it's up close and it is violent. Yeah, Alex, I think, didn't they mention Brown is dead? That's what I was thinking. Yeah, Miss Swift, good point. They might not have hit the alarm and it was just an excuse, because if the cops were informed ahead of time, they would have already been there. There would have been no need to hit the alarm. Okay, so Helifino says blue is the unknown. But it was a 6-man job. 4 of them are here, and then 2 never made it to the safe house. Okay, who's up for a little dance number?
Yeah, that's also interesting, trying to keep the facts straight when the story is not told linear in a linear fashion.
Yep. Yeah, and seeing Pulp Fiction for the first time, it's the same. It's the same approach, and I think that took me maybe 2 or 3 times seeing that before you put the not facts, but you put the events together in order to know, okay, so that happened in the morning, that event was later, and we're just seeing like a whole mishmash of the day. Yeah, this guy, he's just going full on psycho, and he does it so well. If y'all don't know what's coming, yeah, he's getting his knife. Not just a knife. It is a what do you call it? It's like the switchblade. Is that what they would call a switchblade?
That's a straight razor.
Straight razor. Yes, thank you. He's taking a
Yeah,
straight razor.
interesting why it's like, yeah, again, where's the backstory? Why does he keep that in his boot?
You know what? Miss Swift had an interesting comment. This isn't the first time he's done this. Apparently, just caught that. Oh, you mean his character? Because yeah,
Yeah, it's there, but just like the really needs that close shave every now and then. Got to be prepared type
got to
situation.
be prepared. And now we have this funky song. This it's great. You want to dance to it, and then yeah, I'm gonna have to just turn away for this.
Well, it's
Alex
always
Peacock. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I guess it's always the interesting choice here as we pan away from the violence, and it's again interesting because it's like your imagination is worse than what you can see, and also saves on budget.
Yeah, but you know what? They do have a shot of it close up. It's just disturbing. But Tarantino doesn't shy away from that. But you're right, it's all within. You got to stay in budget. So this is what we can see, and this is what we have money for. Oh,
And whether or not it's my own coping mechanism, but the first thing I think of is the phrase now ear today, gone tomorrow.
oh. Well, that's a little levity to it. Gosh. Oh. Alex Peacock has a good comment about American Graffiti jumped around too, but at least the beginning isn't the middle of the story. Oh yeah, even the sequel to American Graffiti, the lesser known More American Graffiti, that was a jumping around too. That movie I saw a couple times and I didn't quite um, put it together or have an endearment to the characters like you do with American Graffiti.
Yeah, it's always interesting where people say they're confused by that type of storytelling, but I'm pretty sure most people in just common conversation start their story at the interesting part, and then they have to go back up and oh yeah, I didn't tell you about this.
Yeah, it does happen. And he's still dancing with a can of gasoline. So, Miss Swift, absolutely. The character, yes, he said, say what you want. I've heard it all before. Between that and the razor in his boot means that this isn't the first time he's tortured someone like this. Um, yes, that is a very interesting um, character study. Not only that, though, but his behavior inside the jewelry store let you believe that this guy is not stable. Oh, hello, Celine. Welcome. Hello, YouTube recommended your stream. Wow. Well, I'm glad you came. If you're unfamiliar with what we do here, we come here every Sunday, we watch a movie, and because of streaming rights, we have to have our own copy of the movie. We started at the same time and we just chat along with it. Um, More often than not, we talk about the movie, the and all the things behind the movie, the scenes that we're watching. But then our discussions always go off on a tangent. So yeah, that's what we do here, and we've been doing this for years and years, and we're always looking for new people to join us. So yeah, there you have it. That's so funny. YouTube recommended this, so word must be getting out.
We're making a place for ourselves.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mr. Blonde got what was coming to him. So yeah, Celine. Right now we're watching Reservoir Dogs, and what is our timestamp? We are about an hour in, so we have about a half hour left. Next week we're going to be doing this again, and I always um, I'm drawing a blank here. So I announced the movie for next week at the end of our movie. And I've got a good one planned for next week too. So I hope you join us then. And it's always at the same time, Celine. It's always at 12:30 Pacific time, which then will translate to whatever time zone you're in. If you come back to this channel, I post, usually at the end of the week, I'll post the link, and you can just follow us from there. Oh, and this is a pivotal scene too. Listen, Marvin. We found the snitch. I called it, but of course I've seen this before. So, Celine, if you want to join us, this movie is free on. What was the? Is it on Tubi? No, no, no. It's on Amazon Prime for free, but of course it has commercials. So we kind of have to adjust for the time for the commercials. Um, oh, here we go, Alex. For a housekeeping question, any more surveys to be released? I certainly hope so. Yes, I've taken the last two surveys and I've used those to kind of bring us into our summer extravaganza coming up. Yeah, and as I can give this channel more time, I want to do a lot more interesting content and bring you guys more into what this channel is going to look like. James Hellier, the little surveys I've been put out, I put two of them so far, or two or three of them on YouTube. One of them had to do with the movie Threads. One of them had to do with uh, Hitchcock movies. Yeah, exactly. I try to post them on Discord as well. And that was when I had a little bit more time. And yeah, so this page is still under construction. This channel is still growing as to what it can become. So yeah, more surveys definitely coming out. Thank you for reminding me. So now we know, guys, Mr. Orange is the snitch, he's the cop. And Marvin knew.
Like there's a question if that was foreshadowed. There was the scene where they're driving down the street and an orange balloon is just randomly in the breeze, and Tarantino denies, says that's just accidental, but it's like, where would an orange balloon come from accidentally?
Just a random orange balloon, right?
Yep.
Well, stranger things have happened. Okay, Tim Roth is looking exceptionally young here.
He's looking like a member of the Breakfast Club.
Exactly. Dude, when do you graduate high school? Well, Helifino points out nothing is put in a film without reason, just like nothing is put in a book that is published without reason. You know what? Generally speaking, when you're dealing with blockbusters, when you're dealing with established directors, writers, cinematographers, when you're dealing with that, absolutely nothing goes in, everything is planned out. But there, on occasion, when you're getting up and coming directors, things do happen and they don't have the resources to refilm it. So, in this situation, would you buy that the orange balloon was an accident or a happy coincidence? Or did he put the balloon in to then deny it was on purpose? So who knows? Yeah, Miss Swift, you sometimes do get happy accidents. And I think the one that comes to mind is the one of the well-known ones is from the movie Rocky, where the budget was, I think, $1 million, and Stallone was basically getting trying to get as much bang for his buck, and he had the running scene through the streets of Philadelphia. There are, if you catch it, there are people in the background that are doing this, that are waving, hi. That was that was not in the script. That was a low budget. Let's just film you running through the streets, no permits, nothing like that, and just people just seeing it. So they put it in. And I bet, you know what, if we put our head together, we have a whole bunch of those little happy accidents. But then we also have the Easter eggs that are famously put into movies that are there to confuse us, to make the audience work a little bit harder, and to ramp up our entertainment. Is that three? Can you see three? Yeah. So, yeah, it could be an Easter egg. Okay, so here's Tim Roth trying to act like a thug. And he's even got a script. Well, all in all, I would say he does a very good job if Mr. Orange believes that he's not a cop. Mm. Okay. Oh man, I missed some of these posts in Discord. Oh, Mr. Furzel says Brando is not a great actor. He had one good role and he stroked his ego, among other things, to it for the rest of his career, acting like he was a god when he was a pauper. Uh, yes. I think there's a lot of truth to that. And I think the term, what's the male form of diva? I think the
Devo.
male form, Devo. uh, yeah, I think that comes to mind. I think he's been accused on numerous times of being just a pompous jerk. So, I mean, say what you will, he had earned his place. Oh yeah, yeah, Devo. We got
Mhm.
confirmation. It's Devo. So I guess he had earned his place, and that's one thing to put in the hard work and to appreciate where your hard work has led you. There's another to be a complete douchebag to everybody because you believe that you are elevated and so much better than everybody. It's not even a fine line. I mean, we know people like that. Um, and their egos are just up to here. So whether Brando was that or if he was misunderstood, I'll just kind of leave it up to the annals of history. But I heard he was kind of a Devo in the Superman. So totally off topic. What would The Godfather have been had he not been cast? And who would they have chosen? And would it have still been a great movie? Yes, James Hillier. Couldn't he be a pompous jerk and a great actor? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know as if Godfather would have been the same without him. He was perfect for that role. Oh, yeah, Alex mentioned over in Discord, Brando was all right in the score, but he wasn't in it much. But worth seeing, it was Brando, De Niro, and Norton in the same scene. So I believe, I don't recall ever seeing the score. That's probably what, 20 years ago? If memory serves. Ah, I stand corrected. That's 2001, 25 years ago. Oh, thank you, Alex. Directed by Frank Oz. And I couldn't even tell you for the life of me why I haven't seen it. I don't know. So you got to know that as he's telling this story, even if it was true, he would have never gotten away with that. Dogs barking at him. He goes into a bathroom full of cops and they don't say anything to him. I doubt it. Well, unless there was a bunch of stupid cops.
It seems like a tangent as we went into a Super Troopers movie for a second.
Exactly. Oh, got a little bit of slow mo to amp up the drama of the scene. So apparently, he delivered that monologue describing that scene with such um, feeling and gusto they actually believed him. Yeah, Fantastic Four reference. So, how many Fantastic Four movies have there been? Does
I
anybody know off the top of your head?
was going to say four, depending on three released, and then there was the early Roger Corman one that didn't get released. I think there's four of them, I believe.
Yep, the famous Fantastic Four movie that was filmed but never released. And it will probably never see the light of day.
There's plenty of copies. I've got the bootleg VHS.
Well, I didn't say
Yeah,
the bootleg thing.
I'm surprised that's the bootleg I have because I never picked up the Star Wars Holiday Special back in the day. but I've got a copy of Fantastic Four.
Oh, um, yeah, wouldn't that just be hysterical if, yeah, come the holidays, we have a
Yeah,
Star Wars holiday movie.
I like what really catches my eye in this scene is right under the Silver Surfer poster. We've got a box of Fruit Brute, the lesser known of the monster cereals,
With
which
it looks like a wolf. Yep, it looks like a wolf on the front.
yeah, which ties us into last week's movie, The Frighteners, because Michael J. Fox was eating a bowl full of blueberry.
Yep, and there's the connection. Yes, Calbot, this new one makes five. Yeah, the new one titled The Fantastic Four First Steps is scheduled to be released July 25th. The movie will be part of the MCU and is expected to feature a new cast and storyline. There's also rumors that Doctor Doom, played by Robert Downey Jr., might appear in the post credit scenes. Yeah, there was a lot of controversy about Robert Downey playing Doctor Doom. But yeah, July 25th. And I don't even know if the trailer for that has come out, but I will be on the lookout. Okay, so the dialogue for this scene is a little bit racy, a little bit dicey. If they were even making this movie today, they would probably cut out a lot of these words. But I am not big on taking, 2025 sensibilities and then transposing them onto a movie that was made in the 90s or a movie in the 80s. So we don't, yeah, I'm not a fan of getting into that kind of dialogue, but it doesn't mean I approve. It doesn't mean I like it. It's just part of this movie, part of how they talk, and we just move on. Oh, Mr. Furzel, that's a good gif. That's from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the first. Is that the first one or the second one? That looks like a scene from the first one. Calbot, yes, this dialogue was not okay in 1992 either. Um, this interchange, yeah, I mean, has no place in regular sensibilities. Um, it is what it is. This is how they made it. So there's lots of movies that has a lot of that inappropriate content. Yep, and we move on. Yes, Alex, Guardians 1. I think that's when the guard stole his cassette player.
That's kind of interesting too. That bring up, yeah, are we watching? What time period is this movie supposed to be occurring in?
I have always assumed it was current day when it was filmed, but if we want to, we could pull it apart and do a deep dive. When do we think it happened? Oh, but
Because that,
Helifino says judging from the car phone. Yeah,
yeah,
probably.
yeah, I was going
Yeah.
to say it's got a '70s vibe, and then I'm looking, yeah, with all the crime drama, the police. I'm kind of brought back to, yeah, just me as a kid in the '70s watching like Starsky and Hutch and Beretta. A lot of that. That was like the mainstay of entertainment in the '70s. Cop shows.
Yes. Starsky and Hutch. Who was big back in the day? Oh, the $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman. I'm big fans of those. And I think Chips. There was a comment. James Hellier made a comment about. I think Paunch.
Hmm.
Yeah, Paunch and John from Chips. That was also. Oh, here to go. Joe's picking the names.
And I said, and if you're a fan of Mr. Blue, don't blink because you're going to miss his scenes here.
Exactly. He doesn't last very long. Yeah, he's the elderly guy in the back. Just don't blink, you'll miss it. Okay, Frag Lord's comment. At least there isn't a Mr. Blackface. That is true. Mr. Brown is also in it just enough where we say, "Hey, Quentin's in it." That's right, Joe. I'm I'm Mrs. Black for today. No one's gonna fight about it. Oh yes, James Hellier. Yes, that was the quintessential 70s TV show for about 5 or 6 years, 5 years, I believe. Oh, I love that show. I even have the whole thing on DVD and the Bionic Woman too.
I can remember going to the training facility at Universal Studios. They'd have that on part of the tour back in the '70s was the $6 Million Man training.
Did you get to jump off walls and stuff?
Yeah, they gave you little feats of strength. Some
Nice.
I think that too, and the Incredible Hulk had a stage show too.
Oh, yes, Bill Bixby's show. Love that too. Now we're really going back to the 70s. Oh, yes, Johnny Devitt. Kudos. Like the Bionic Woman said about the remake. I think I watched one episode and just, no way. Yeah, it just wasn't the same. Yes, Miss Swift, that is a classic gift. Thank you. And his shirt is open too. Okay, don't forget that. Yeah, James Hellier. I have both series on Blu-ray. I love the $6 Million Man. Slow motion action scenes rule. We used to do that all the time on the playground. We used to play Bionic Woman, $6 Million Man. Oh boy, Frag Lord, that takes me back. The Wonder Woman. Yes, thank you very much. Boy, we could. You know what? We could go down memory lane about 70s TV, and we would just never get out. Oh, there's one. Alex Peacock is putting it. Just posted a GIF of Three's Company. And okay, Fragler, that's Charlie's Angels. I got this. These are the shows I grew up on. Yes, Bionic Woman meets Bigfoot, and I think $6 Million Man was in on that episode too. It was a crossover.
Okay, quickly, who's going to tell me the name of the bionic dog?
I know, I know, it's Max. I know, Toad. I grew up on this, and that was okay. Fragler posted the GIF. I'm going to shout it out because I know it. That's ISIS. That was on, I believe, Saturday mornings.
Yep,
I
and
think
part of
Saturday mornings.
part of the Shazam ISIS hour.
Yes.
we're all either really knowledgeable or just really old.
Really old. Okay, Calbot, that is Heart to Heart. Alex Peacock, Knight Rider. I mean, just come on, you can throw them at me. We can seriously go on a tangent and never get out. Um, the 70s, I was a young kid, didn't have much of a life. But yeah, in the 80s, that's when I started to have a life. You know what? At least I'm in a community that can appreciate the classics. Oh, okay. So back to the movie. Yeah, he shot her, but I think it was a reflex because she shot him first. That's how he got shot. However, from his officer training, that should never have happened. So he is that's crossing a line. Yes, okay, Fraglord, that's from the late 60s. That was what is it? The Edge of Tomorrow. Was that the season 2 finale episode? Anybody want to go over to Discord and jog my memory for what Fraglord posted? That was, yeah, late 60s. That episode of Star Trek.
That's
Yeah, it
that's
was.
that's Star Trek filmed on the Andy Griffith set because they walked past Floyd's barbershop.
Oh, classic. Yes, so Sitting on the Edge of Tomorrow, written by Harlan Ellison. Um, and I believe it was the second season towards the end. If it wasn't the finale, it was towards the end of the second season.
And so now I want to say Edge of Forever. Somebody fix solve solve the dilemma before I have to open up a third screen on my computer here.
Oh, James Hellier, I stand corrected. It was season 1, and Operation Annihilate was the season finale. Okay.
Yeah, who could forget the horrible flying egg yolks for aliens?
Ugh. Well, we are building up towards, yeah, we are building up towards the finale of this movie. Um, Eddie came in and shot the cop, but Eddie seems to know who the cop is or the snitch.
He's just got that shoot first, ask questions later mentality going on.
Yeah. Yeah, this is hardcore when the everybody's getting together. Everybody's got a gun. Everybody's a bad guy. Oh, Fraglord posted. Oh, Kevin Spacey. Oh, the name escapes me. Kaiser Sose is the character's name. Oh, why is the name of that movie? It's I'm just drawing a blank. That's gonna drive me nuts. Anybody know the name of that movie? Shout it out, and I'm just gonna Usual Suspects. That's it. That's it. Oh, geez, everybody's got a gun. Everybody's pointing their gun. I almost forgot about Mr. Pink. He has been kind of absent from the last couple scenes a little bit. Yes, okay, that's a good one too. Frag Lord posted that stakeout. Yep. Okay. In the span of 5 seconds, took out one, two, three of them. So Mr. Pink throughout the whole movie seems to have a pretty good head on his shoulder, pretty even keel.
Yeah. So that's where I see him too. He's going. He knows what he's doing until he drives to his next job, which is in Fargo, North Dakota.
Yeah, trying to get away from the criminal element somewhere nice and cold out of this place. So we can only assume that Mr. Pink made it out alive. Although it might not be a good assumption that he made it out alive. So this movie doesn't really have a predictably happy ending, but as we know, Tarantino doesn't usually offer happy endings. It's almost like a happy ending wrapped up in uh, a gut punch, a punch to your throat. At least, yes, Alex, it is an ending. I would say, in my opinion, Tarantino is really good at delivering um, endings that feel right for the story. And I may not agree with him, I may not like him, but at least he's a good storyteller and wraps it up appropriately. And I don't feel gypped and like I wasted 2 hours of my life. Yeah, I guess there really is no other ending that that we could have from this. There you go. Um, wow. So my original assumption watching that is that he didn't shoot the cop, but I think in later discussions that's really what Tarantino was going for. He shot the cop and then the cops got him. But I mean, the ending really does leave it up um, to kind of how you see it ending, like your imagination, I guess. So, wow. Does anybody else feel like they've just been on a roller coaster ride and now it's over? We can take a breath. Whew. Good film. Um, yes, hell if I know. Keitel should have gotten an Oscar for this. Yeah. Um, let's see. Calbot says Mr. Orange was doomed to die. He has a red shirt. Well, it's red now. Yeah, good point. Good point. Alex says, I've never seen a Tarantino movie and thought I want my money back. Same here. I've always felt um, like I've really got my money's worth. Okay. So yes, everyone, whew, that was quite a movie. Reservoir Dogs. I'm glad we did it. That was brutal, but that was Tarantino. And anybody who hasn't seen a Tarantino movie before, this is kind of how he is as a storyteller. So, yes, without further ado, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. If anybody has any closing thoughts, any closing memories, or any tangents, now's the time. Um, so, yes. Okay, what's the discussion over there in Discord? That's an October watch party for sure. Um, is that reference to what Calbot posted? I don't know. Is that the movie about the witches with Nicole Kidman? It was.
Is that Practical Magic?
Oh yes, thank you. That was right on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, it was the three. Was it the two or three witches? Nicole Kidman and that really famous actress, Sandra Bullock. Yes. Practical Magic with Kidman and Bullock. I was thinking there was another actress in that. Yes, thank you. Thank you for that, Matt. Um, yeah, I don't recall I've ever seen that. So, yeah, maybe we'll push that off till October. Okay,
Yeah.
so
I was going to say
um,
that's another one too. I don't know where it pulled. I've never seen that movie, so I don't know how I answered that question. But there it
yeah,
is. Pop
I,
culture knowledge.
I might have seen it years ago. So, yeah, refresh your memory because it might be coming up on a watch party. So, for next week, this was almost a no brainer. It was, let me get the exact date. Bill Paxton, his birthday was just a couple days ago, I believe, or was it yesterday? It was yesterday. His birthday was yesterday. And he would have been um, about 70. I think he would be 70 years old today. So I know we have seen a couple of his movies in the past. We are going to pick up one that we might not all be familiar with, but it was brought to the chat
But it was Weird
uh,
Science.
a couple weeks ago. I think we had mentioned it, or was it last week? So there's a little movie called Frailty. It was released in 2001. Um, that was a movie I had seen before he was even a star, before Matthew McConaughey was a star. And it is a very interesting watch. So it, I believe it is readily available. Um, oh, and Alex Peacock is mentioning it's Paxton's directorial movie. So he directed it, starred in it, and even when I had seen it back in 2001, it was a very unknown movie. Came across it by accident, and I think it's going to make for a very fun watch tomorrow. We'll talk about all things Bill Paxton, all things related to the movie, and then we go off on a tangent. Um, so, any last thoughts, Matt, before we call it a day?
No, just the thing. It's like, yeah, I may not have been very chatty this time around, and that's just this movie was not my cup of tea. So
Well, you know what? I am glad you joined me as a co-host today.
it's
Um,
fun to be here.
yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna try to bring in a whole bunch of movies from different genres. Might not be my cup of tea either, but I think we just need to get out there and just have fun with movies. It's like um, a universal, what am I thinking of? Love, universal experience that eventually we're going to be getting some losers, we'll get a lot of winners, and just have a lot of fun doing it. Yeah, Miss Swift, this was that was a classic and a rough watch in places. Yes, this is definitely Tarantino is a rough watch at times, not for everybody. So I totally get if it isn't your cup of tea. I totally get it. So, um, so yeah, thank you, Matt. I'm glad that you joined us, and even if you didn't have a lot to say, I think I talked way more than I usually do, which is okay.
But you
Um,
even carried us through the conversation when your mic wasn't working.
I know. Well, good. Um, I love doing this, and I'm so glad you all join us every week. Hope to see you all next week, and I hope we have some new faces too. So, anyway, thank you so much all for joining, and we'll see you all next week.
Good
Take
day.
care. Bye.